what gets worse with age. Recovery time after working out. I am 55 and I used to do a nice 10-mile run and would be good. Now it's like the end of the fucking world. Ache all day. What about eyesight? Oh yeah, that too. Had cataract surgery a couple months ago. Lost my colon 5 years ago. This depends on the person, but for me, my autism is far worse than it used to be. Once upon a time, I could casually hang out in loud assemblies or I guess just be normal. Now in high school I absolutely cannot walk between classrooms with everyone else because of the noise and crowding. I'd like my refund please. Not at the end of the road yet, but definitely seeing yourself being the annoying person that you hated as a teen and suddenly understand your parents. Like I knew I had to change for that, but it just sucks to realize how wrong I was before I hit that phase. My ability to put up with stupidity, pettiness, and bullshit, I just can't tolerate it as much. Whether it's news, sports, the arts, politics, whatever. People are on average pretty damn dumb, and I don't want to hear the stupid anymore if I can avoid it. The world. When you're a little kid you're completely ignorant to the suffering and pain that exists. When you're a teen you might become somewhat aware of the cruelty of the world, but at least you usually still get to have your parents look after you. Scary little thing that may be different for others, but noticing my energy decreases little by little every year. Almost imperceptibly, but noticeable when you do the same chores. Sigh. Our poor bodies. They do the best they can. Thinking you are going to die. My neck was sore yesterday and I noticed the lymph node under my jaw was swollen. Of course I immediately thought this is it. Cancer time, and got my affairs in order. Deleted my internet history. Hid all the super weird shit in my house, and cleaned up to make it nice and neat should I croak over the next few days while waiting for the doctor's appointment. Of course the neck is all good today, and this scenario happens every few weeks, but this is life as you break into your 30s. I dread my 40s. 56M. Often think if I'd known I was going to live so long I might have taken better care of myself. Physical things get worse, aches and pains, forcing yourself to get exercise etc. However, upside is emotional issues are easy to handle. You get better at navigating life. Ego. You start to think you've seen it all and that you have everyone all figured out. I'm 40 and I already feel it happening. You have to keep reminding yourself that you don't know nearly as much as you think you do and that you have to get to know people to understand them or their actions. Having life experience to draw from doesn't make you omniscient. I think this is why a lot of people don't like old people. They act like they know you better than you know you and they give unsolicited advice without understanding the situation. Arrogance isn't wisdom. Nightclubs. I somehow got dragged into a club a couple of years ago at the age of 43. I hated it. Too loud, awful watered down beer for exorbitant prices. Every other person and they're young enough to be one of my kids. I stood out like a sore thumb, so stayed for one drink and went back home. A man is sitting on a porch with his friend, playing checkers. Every once in a while, he shouts out a number between 1 and 100. Inside the house, a woman will chuckle or moan or giggle. Then, the woman will respond with another seemingly random number. Usually, the man just smiles or grunts. After an hour of this, the man tells his friend he needs to go inside. The friend is disappointed, but curious about one thing. "What's up with the numbers?" he asks. The man opens the door to his home and looks down the hall, towards the bedroom. "We've been married so long, we know what we both like, those are our favorite positions." He smiles. Now that the foreplay is over, he gives his friend a knowing wink, and closes the door. I think loneliness is the main thing that pops into my mind. The idea of just falling out of contact with people and being alone is probably my biggest fear. One of my favorite songs about this is Hello in There by John Prine. You know that old trees just grow stronger, and old rivers grow wilder every day. Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say, "Hello in there, hello." Have to disagree with you on some of this. I'm 62 and there is a ton of new music that is amazing, but you're not going to find most of it on the radio, and some really great new streaming content for original movies and TV. Look beyond your comfort zone, your generation, and keep an open mind. It's what keeps you from becoming stagnant. Finding entertainment. Everything is tailored to youth. New music sucks. Movies suck. TV sucks. Concerts can be fun but don't happen that often, other than sticking with the familiar that you have seen or heard a million times. Finding something new to enjoy, that speaks to your generation, is hard. Everyone saying everything gets terrible when you're older are probably in their mid-20s lol. Just old enough that they think they're old, but young enough that they don't have much life experience yet. Give it time. I'm not sure why as a society we all just decided to accept that you're supposed to have everything figured out, have built your own house, and be making six figures by the time you're 25. I'm 20, about to be 21 soon. I work 40 hours a week. The planet is dying and I feel hopeless about it all. Cut back on news and negative social media. Still stay up to date, but maybe just catch the big news from NPR or NIT once a week or however often you can handle. Do your civic duty and responsibly vote, but not everyone has to be an activist or breathing information. I remember the complete dread of filtering some of Trump's presidency and jumping from catastrophe to scandal multiple times a day. Had to detox and stop staying up to date so much. Definitely don't go into the social media politics. News too much. Reddit is definitely a clickbaity cesspool on those subs. For all those sad sacks saying everything, bull fucking shit. Young me had no money. Young me had no idea how to act around women. Young me had no idea how to not stress about everything. Young me had no idea how not to let ruminations, the world, the news, how others act get to me. Young me had no idea what he was about. I am early 40s now. All of these things are but memories to me now. Money is fine. Women are fine. When stress comes I deal with it and let it complete its cycle. I tolerate bullshit from a select few and have no problem letting go of the negative in my life. And I know what I'm about. Sure, I have tinnitus. Sure, my one arm isn't what it was. And yeah, I'd love to be able to sleep like I did. But I'm so much more a better man than I ever was. I disagree 100%. But I'm only 31. But now after studying is over and I have a solid income and a lot of spare money, my life is so much more relaxed. The more you know, the more valuable you become. Might change at age 50 as they say. But most older people I know are super relaxed. Something I strive for. At the 10-year, 20-year, and 30-year reunions, they read the list of the known deceased among our 535 grads. Since then, 40 and 45-year reunions, it's a big poster, with talk to so-and-so if you know of others. A lot of them weren't people I necessarily hung out with much, but they're still a piece of my past that I value. Some were SH heads, some were really good people who for various reasons died far too early. I read somewhere that plateaus are normal when exercising. If you do the same exercises for too long, your body will become too adapted to it and will no longer become stronger. The way out of this is to vary your routine by doing a different exercise. Sorry if you knew this already and had done this but still saw no results, but for the benefit of others, I'll leave a link with more info. Source: https://xrix.net/weight training, change WTX. I used to work out 3 times a week for an hour after I graduated high school. After like 2.5 octoseconds I hit a plateau and all of a sudden I couldn't lift what I was currently lifting anymore, to the point I had to start from ground zero. I got really upset about it. I looked at my body and I saw no physical results from working out for a couple of years, but I did feel the results after 2 octoseconds for sure. But after I hit that plateau, I basically quit going to the gym altogether. I really need to start working out again before my 175 pounds turns into 200 pounds or more out of shape fat. I was doing CrossFit BTW before I forget, lol. Mostly because of my diet and my laziness. I just turned 38 and a little less than a year ago I was in the best shape of my life. Age makes it harder, yes, but it's diet more than anything. I have a t-shirt that I got when I was in 8th grade, 1996, and though I haven't tried it on this year, I was still able to wear it in 2020. I used to use it as my gauge to determine how fat I was getting and if I needed to make a change. Well, I need to make a change ASAP. Even though I ride my bike 100 miles a week and have a couple of gym sessions, I'm up 10 pounds from this point last year. You can't outwork a bad diet and pair it with a drinking problem and it's twice as hard, but that's life. Can confirm, went from scrawny borderline underweight to a muffin top in a year, 24 to 26, it's getting to beer belly point, plus I've got cholesterol issues, but according to my doctor catching it early means meds are much more effective. If you've got weight issues, get a blood test, it could save you from a lot of grief. I was always beating myself up for not being sociable when I was young. I made myself go out and do things with people I knew, football games, riding around on dirt roads because that was what we did, then later going to bars. I have such low tolerance I can count the times I didn't puke my guts out the next day after drinking on one hand. How much happier would I have been if I had said fuck it and hung out with my mother, lol. I'm 32 and have had back pain since I was 17, bad sitting posture and sports injuries. Doing 20 minutes of yoga-type stretches like downward dog and child pose followed by 5 minutes of arm windmills and shoulder rolls when I wake up has been the best solution I've found after years of trying things. Might not be moving enough then. If you're having back pain in your 20s, it's usually because you need to move. Take regular walks and keep your back straight, don't overdo it. Roll your shoulders back every now and then, when you're walking, once a day, 15 minutes, preferably on soft ground if you can. You're gonna see results in a couple of weeks. At 32, I never get hangovers. My hack: had my thyroid removed at 28 due to cancer and the glands that control blood calcium were affected in the surgery. They are on the back of the thyroid. As a result, drinking alcohol, especially hard alcohol, brings back all the hella uncomfortable calcium-deficient pins and needles I felt in the days after surgery, and that's despite me taking calcium and prescription-strength vitamin D daily because my calcium deficiency turned out to be permanent. Don't ask me how it's all connected, but all I know is that I can't tolerate drinking enough to get drunk. The pins and needles aren't worth it, hence, no hangover. How come I feel this differently? When I was young I had the most terrible hangovers, really bad nausea, vomiting and the worst headaches. Now at 27 I just feel really energetic for like 2 to 3 hours with just slight nausea. Thought now when I come to think of it, I guess I just drank differently back then, much more heavily, so the hangover was heavier too. If I would drink like a bottle of vodka and multiple beers on top of that, now my head would probably just fall on my knees. Water and sports drinks are your friend. For every pint of beer I order a pint of water. So the water, too. This is good because it helps me drink slower. It keeps me hydrated and massively negates any hangover. Downside is you got to pee more often, but my piss is always nice and clear. I aim to stay at 1:1 beer-water ratio, but I'm happy for it to slip to 2:1. Then, before bed, down a 500 milliliters bottle of Powerade or something similar. I took all of 2020 off from drinking, not pandemic-related. Realized in 2019 my drinking had gotten out of hand, and I was feeling great by the end of the year. Then started drinking again in the new year, and it didn't take long for me to feel like absolute shit for it. I second encouraging people thinking about giving sobriety a go to try for it. This is honestly what tipped the scales for me. That, and I saw how my ex and I drinking together constantly led to some less than desirable traits in myself. In a couple weeks I'll be 18 months without a drink, and I've never felt better. If you're serious about giving it a go, I encourage you to. Rectal, like it cause you to have to lay waste to unsuspecting bathroom, or does it cause you to lay doubled over from the stomach cramps? I've developed lactose intolerance as I've aged, and it's not the Frosted Flakes or the bananas that would do me in, but the milk. Not just drinking either, eating like shit. It really takes a toll on me now. I used to be able to dominate a family-sized box of Frosted Flakes with bananas and go about my day like I didn't just commit a war crime. The thought of that gives me palpitations. I would get completely wrecked doing that shit now. I want this ability back, so desperately. I do not, in any capacity, enjoy this thing where my body jolts me awake sometime before 7 a.m. every single fucking day. For about a year before I accepted this newfound bullshit, I kept staying up until my normal 3-4 am on weekends. Only to wake up at 7 or so, miserable and tired, with no ability to go back to sleep. Why? I never asked for this. I'm part of 3 a.m. crowd as well. Pro tip, heard from a doctor that if you're awake at 3 a.m. and almost falling asleep tired at 8 a.m. then it's most likely caused by stress. Reason being is that your cortisol levels spike when you should be sleeping. 3 a.m. and we're off by the time 8 a.m. rolls around. Fucking 3 a.m. crowd right here. Been like this for about 5 octoseconds for me, and I'm currently 45, and it's all of my girlfriends between the ages of 40 and 60. There is something here that is affecting tons of people. Societal pressures, hormones. Just go through times when 6 hours of sleep is enough. Something. When I'm a passenger in a car and whoever is driving is trying to talk to me but they can't hear what I'm saying over the slightly too loud radio, I fucking snap. You're the one asking questions, has the music too loud, and can't hear me. I'm getting angry just thinking of this. Permanent sufferer here. I have some form of a 24/7. I hear both high-pitched ringing and low-frequency rumbling. It is bad enough that I sleep with hearing aids pumping white noise directly into my ears through the night. I was born with it, but it got a lot worse over the past 2 years, out of nowhere. Some days, it is a living hell. Yet it isn't recognized as a disability, and my insurance only covers a portion of my hearing aids and other equipment. I get tinnitus when I'm stressed. I could never convince my childhood psychiatrist it was a symptom of my mental health, but there was a period where it was so loud I had to put on loud white noise to sleep. Now I'm slightly tense and it's a very faint whine. Why is this relevant? Because loud noises can make tinnitus permanent, and I feel very sorry for the poor bastards who deal with it 24/7. I am feeling this a lot at work. I am feeling intense organizational pressure to undertake a lot of work related to addressing historical and ongoing wrongs to a particular group of people. I get that this is really important, but like I've got a lot going on in my life too, and I'm from a group that has also been systematically oppressed and no one is saying a word. I am intensely feeling a lack of emotional bandwidth to take on another group's problems because a bunch of people not of that group are telling me to. Sorry for the rant, but it pisses me off and I'm not allowed to be pissed off about it. My dad's in his mid-70s. As a kid, I remember him sitting outside and just roasting in the Texas sun to work on his tan. Last time I saw him, his head was covered in scabs where he'd had skin cancers cut off. I'm mid-40s and white as paper, primarily from office job, but any time I'm in the sun, I'm slathering on the 50 SPF. Don't want to be like my dad.